Let's try it. It may be a disaster. You're alive, it reckons. Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 210. Rob will be joining us in a minute, but we'll just see how the intro and audio goes. Let us know if there's a problem on Google, because there's been a comedy of problems. So, they've gone and changed the code on this again, by the looks of it. Have we got some music? I can hear at my end. Seems lower than normal. Hopefully it's loud. Something's gone on. One watching, and the counters haven't updated. Damn it. I think the counters are down. I can't keep his website up.
No reviews.
Hello. Good to be back. It looks like we should have done some testing beforehand, because we've got some new problems. Yeah, Google's beta code, they've gone and done something on it. That's all muted, is it? I think YouTube's way behind. Looks like it's catching up now. So, who we got out there? Ali. What's that message underneath?
No, but if Ali, you're listening, can you please inform us of the sound, please?
Is it working? I don't know what she's trying to say there, but it's all random characters. I don't think it's it. I don't think it's my end. So, what are we doing tonight, Robert? Because I'm all stressed out.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. And it shouldn't be. It's Christmas at the end of the day. It's not a time to be stressed out at all. Yeah. Well, we all remember the Abduction forest incident, don't we?
Yeah, it's
the
kind
twin
of
bases of Woodbridge and Bentwaters, with Abduction forest in the middle. But we can look at some of the cases that happened during that time period. And the first one is the well-documented case of Lakenheath in 1956.
Okay, and I think, is that what have we got up at the screen at the moment? Lakenheath?
No.
Should be.
We don't have nothing as yet.
What do you mean don't have nothing? What are you talking about, Robert? It's working alright here.
Yeah, but I'm giving you the link, Paul.
No, I'm talking about the map. I'm looking at the map here. So.
Oh, right, yeah. What you're looking at there is East Anglia. So you got Norfolk, you got Suffolk, and you got Cambridgeshire. Cambridgeshire's a bit more inland. Norfolk comes from North folk, Anglo-Saxon word, and Suffolk is South folk. And then you got Cambridgeshire on the inside, the famous college area there. You can actually see Cambridgeshire on the map. But the incidents we're looking at is Suffolk.
So I don't know who's out there. We've got 4 watching, but the counters are down and the website's gone down again. So there's a bit of comedy of errors. Google changes and counters down. So we'll have to see how we go. You got the link up now. So we'll see if that paste.
Yeah. Come on, Paul. Take it easy. It don't matter. Stressful day, I know, mate.
So we've got a UFO tree there to keep the low attention spans happy. They can watch that. See, it's got a laser beam coming down from the star of whatever it is, Beverlyham. And I got some new Christmas lights at the bottom here. But I don't think that's what's causing the problem that we're having. Something strange was going on. This one's called, what is it? UFO Incidents and Alien Abductions of UK.
Yeah. There's one in Scotland as well.
Right.
So we're staying in the UK, but we're moving around a little bit.
So this location here is next to a lake, did you say? Lake? No.
It's not particularly noted for its lakes, no.
It looks like farmland. Lots of farmland. Well, I just wonder where the Lakenheath comes from, because lake is in the name there. Although
absolutely, yeah.
I don't see no lakes. Not like Scotland, right? So we'll just kick off this one then, and let's make sure the reader's working, because that wasn't going to behave before.
The Lakenheath UFO chase incident. In the evening of the 13th going into the 14th of August 1956, one of the most well-documented and military radar-confirmed UFO encounters took place in the skies over eastern England. As well as being tracked on 3 separate ground radar systems, further confirmation came from an airborne radar. And further still, visual sightings came from 2 pilots in separate planes, as well as from multiple personnel from 2 different control towers.
It seemed to read that all right. Hopefully it's coming out on my stream.
Yeah. So, as long as you remember there was 2 different control towers that picked this thing up on radar.
Yeah.
As well as the amount of military documentation of the incident, the fact that it stretched between US and UK intelligence networks shows that not only were both governments aware and actively investigating the instances, but they were apparently doing so, at least on occasion, through combined and coordinated efforts. This, despite public denials to both of their respective citizens. As the true UFO history is revealed through the persistent investigations of UFO researchers around the world, it is highly likely we will discover such coordinated efforts go out in many directions and under many directives.
So I thought we might have a few more people on tonight from the UK, but still it's not happening for us there, Robert.
I don't really care about that. Let's get on with the show. But you see now already...
Before we examine this most fascinating military encounter with an apparent otherworldly craft, check out the short video below. It features some of the better photographs captured by members of the public during the early to mid-1950 seconds, a time when UFO sightings were more and more commonplace.
Okay, so we've seen some of these before. So you there, Robert?
Yeah, sure, I'm here. Yeah, but it was picked up on not just by the UK. It was picked up on by the US. It's a very usual sighting with radar evidence and visual sighting from the pilots and everything. So it's one of the best cases you'll ever come across, to be honest. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't think there was any pictures for it though, was there?
No, not that I know of.
Although it's trying to say here with this video, what's it trying to say? Photographs members of the public during the early and mid 1950s. That's all over the place.
Yeah.
Not a meteorite comet. So these are old cases. 1956 was it? Yeah. So yeah. They often don't have much hand drawings or photographs or anything, is what we're finding. Multiple witnesses or physical evidence, but no actual photographs and videos. But yeah, back then would have been what, 8mm for people and film cameras. Pretty rubbish, really.
Not a meteor, comet, or conventional aircraft. At a little after 9:30 p.m. on the evening of the 13th of August 1956, the radar system at RAF Bentwaters, utilised by the US military, picked up an anomalous object on England's east coast. It moved at a pace somewhere between 4,000 and 9,000 miles per hour. Aside from the abnormal speed, the size of the object was that of a standard jet fighter. As the object vanished from the radar screen, it diminished in size and intensity.
So, size of a jet fighter, same as a tic-tac. Tic-tac. Which is also...
Yeah, you could say that, yeah. Around about 40 feet.
Yeah, 30 to 40 feet, general description of a UFO, isn't it? So we'll read out each paragraph and we can comment as we go.
Yeah.
Around 30 minutes later at 10 p.m. another mysterious object appeared on a radar monitor at Bentwaters. The distance it covered suggested a speed around 12,000 miles per hour, as well as the radar returns, which were again of a similar size to a conventional craft. Those on duty in Control Tower would report visually witnessing a bright light passing overhead at the same time as the radar was tracking the object. Further still, a C-47 craft was passing high overhead, also at the same time. The pilot would report a streaking white light below him.
So you want to say anything about that?
At this point, no, not really. But of course, it's been seen.
So I wonder what they mean by streaking white light. Like a contrail?
Yeah, that could have been a meteor, anything at this point. But
yeah,
let's roll it on.
Because we're not talking about long exposure here with the eyes, so
no,
it's got to have a vapor trail by the sounds of that.
Personnel at Bentwaters would notify the nearby RAF Lakenheath station, also a military outpost at the time. They too managed to track the same objects on their systems. Several Lakenheath personnel also reported visual confirmation of the UFO from the ground. They would report a luminous object head in their direction, which then came to an abrupt stop. It hovered for a moment before streaking away and out of sight.
So, this is a different case to the one we know about, obviously, at Bentwaters.
Yeah, hold on a minute. It came to an abrupt stop before streaking away. And that rules out meteor straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah, whatever it wasn't a meteorite or comet, and it certainly wasn't a conventional aircraft. Not if it can stop. The only thing it can really stop mid-air is a helicopter, right?
Well, that can't stop dead, can it? You know, it's going to slow down first.
Did they say it stopped dead there? Another streaked out. It hovered for a moment
Well,
before streaking away. What's streaking away mean? Zooming away?
well,
Out of sight.
streaking away means going off at speed,
It's in quotes.
and that was sight.
So yeah, it rules out meteorite for sure, because meteorites can't do that. Stop, and then didn't say change direction though there, did it? Head in the direction which came to a stop, and then hovered and momently before streaked away. But did it streak away in the opposite direction or vertically upwards? It's not too clear there. Unless we got some more information later.
We have.
Pursuit by a UFO. Shortly after midnight, following a call of a sighting near the RAF station in Neatishead, a Venom night fighter jet scrambled from Waterbeach. It would first head towards a target, which then vanished before the fighter could intercept it. Seconds later, however, the fighter would receive new coordinates just north of Cambridge. This time, not only did he confirm the object on his own radar, he would send back visual confirmation. Furthermore, radars at Neatishead and Lakenheath would also confirm the sightings.
I'll read out those two paragraphs.
Yeah.
Seems to be going alright at the moment. Fingers crossed.
Several seconds following these confirmations, the object would appear just behind the Venom fighter. It continued to pursue the jet, maintaining a steady distance of only a quarter of a mile. The pilot of the fighter performed several maneuvers in an attempt to shake off this mysterious craft, but to no avail. This would continue for around 10 minutes. Although the craft was not aggressively chasing the fighter jet, it would maintain a close proximity. Then, it suddenly became stationary, simply hovering and allowing the Venom plane to increase the distance between them. Taking the chance, the plane immediately returned to base.
We got no one watching it, by the way. And I think Ellie, because she broke garbage up here, must have had a problem and dropped off. I think the word hell's on the end there, is it? I think she was having trouble. I'm not sure. Are you getting YouTube okay your end? Just to make sure.
Yeah, sure, I think so. You've got location.
You can have it muted, but you should. Is it playing? I'll just read out the next bit anyway.
Several moments later, the UFO zipped northwards. Traveling at an estimated 600 miles per hour, it was soon out of range, its ultimate destination unknown. The radar system at Lakenheath, however, would continue to receive echoes of the craft until around 3:30 a.m. This would suggest that, even though the object was out of range, its effects were still being felt for several hours following its disappearance. Although purely speculation, perhaps this would suggest the craft was closer than many would think. Perhaps, as we have examined before, the North Sea and the waters of the North Atlantic Ocean contain the bases these apparent alien crafts come from.
So,
yeah,
what's it saying there? Basically,
alien base in the North Atlantic.
North Atlantic, out of on the map. Where are we looking at? So there's bent waters around here, is it, as well? I can't see bent waters. Actually, let's just put it up on the map, because it's talking about bent waters.
Well, it was a nuclear base for years.
Yeah, so it's going to have a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Bent waters... Woodbridge, that sounds like it.
Yeah, Woodbridge was one of the bases, yeah.
There we go. So it's right near the coast. Oh, that's right, because there was a lighthouse, wasn't there, in that famous case?
Yes.
And of course, the sea base they're talking about out this way.
And up a bit.
North Sea. So we have to zoom out.
Yeah.
Let's zoom out a bit. So we're talking about this area over here at some
You are?
stage. Okay, so
Yes.
everyone knows what we're talking about now,
Cool.
including myself. So what else do we need to summarize there? Anything? North Sea and waters of North Atlantic Sea. Bases of these apparent alien craft. Who came up with that idea of the bases?
Yeah, well, I think Timothy Good was one of the first, you know.
It didn't say any names there. Was it the Navy suggesting that, or the military suggesting that? So let's read out the next bit.
I think what suggested it, Paul, was USOs were coming out of the water and going back into the water. I think that was the suggestion rather than any one particular individual suggesting it.
Which means there's got to be a base. But when you look at the coast around here, it's not like the Pacific Rim around UK. It's very...
No, it's not particularly deep.
No, it hasn't got the big crevasses and sea caves. There's something going out here, but it's very light to something here, right? But where else is there anything else would be a base? You know, it's more going out this way.
No, I don't go for it myself. Not North Atlantic, no.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the deepest part there is because it doesn't tell us on Google, does it? But I suppose you could have a artificial base, you know, made of like a dome underneath the sea there in the middle of the two countries. Of course, that's where you get a lot of those, what do you call it, the lights, skylights over this way. So, Henderson lights.
Well, if you go further north as well, there's even more activity.
But yeah,
when you look at Scandinavia, like Norway, Sweden.
But if you go down to the sea, it's featureless. Unlike the Pacific Rim around New Zealand and Australia and America.
I know it.
There might be something here. Apparently, a millions of years ago, impact happened there of a meteorite. And you can see here there's some more bits and pieces in this one.
But even the Ivy Sea it's not that deep, you know.
No. But does it have to be deep? That's the question for an alien base. You probably...
Well, it just has to be deep enough.
Okay, so you got the Germans who come across the waterway there. So yeah, I don't know. Kind of strange to have an alien base, I think, but I reckon there'd be a lot of leftover garbage from World War II at the bottom of the sea.
Recent sightings over Lakenheath. The Lakenheath case has gone under close scrutiny from many different groups and individuals alike over the years. Perhaps not least from those behind the Condon report, who would describe the case as the most puzzling and unusual case in the radar visual files. They would go on to state that at least one genuine UFO was in the encounter was fairly high. Furthermore, the rational, intelligent behavior of the UFO suggests a mechanical device of unknown origin. They would, though, insert the caveat that conventional explanations couldn't be dismissed as a possibility.
So...
As credibly documented as the encounter is, it remains unexplained. Whether the intelligence behind the mysterious objects of August 1956 is the same as some of the many other sightings over the United Kingdom in the 1950s also remains unknown. It certainly isn't that much a stretch of the imagination. In 2007, over 50 years following the incident, 2 US pilots of a US Air Force F-15 were contacted by London Military Air Traffic Control with a request to intercept an unknown target in their vicinity and flying at an altitude of between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. Not only would the F-15 lock in on the mystery object, they would perform 2 passes, both at 17,000 feet. The pilots would later describe the object as completely black and unlike any aircraft they had ever seen.
What's that sound like? A stealth fighter, doesn't it? So 56 though?
Yeah, but we're talking 8 to 12,000 miles an hour. I'm not really sure what could do that in 1956, Paul.
Hang on, it's saying 2007 though. Have I got the dates mixed up? 2050 years following the incident. Oh, right. So, could be a stealth type craft.
Yeah, hold on. The speeds don't match though, Paul. Nothing could go that fast in that either.
Not conventional planes, no, but if it's some black ops, we don't know still. Video
Okay.
features audio
So
exchange.
You're telling me something could go in 1956 at 10,000 miles an hour?
No, it's saying 2007 here. So?
Yeah, we haven't quite got to the bottom of this yet.
Yeah, we did. We got to the end.
Okay.
So this is where it's getting mixed up. That's talking about 1956 up there, and 2007 it's talking about this other incident 20 years after.
Yeah, and there's a pilot transcript there as well.
Was it 20 years or 50 years? What am I talking about? 50 years after, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
About, yeah. 51. So we can play that there, can we? I don't know, let's have a look. So we got this new thing. Is it a news clip or what? Incident audio, no music. Well, we got this add-on that sort of changes it anyway, so we could give it a try, I suppose. It won't let me click it. Won't let me click it. Something screwed up. Oh, maybe I have to play it first. What's going on here? It worked before when we tried it, didn't it? Maybe it can't do it on that video. But it's... Now it's turned on. Let's see what happens.
Alright, dude, no kidding. I just flew over on bullseye. 008 for 20. I had a radar hit.
There you go, speeds it up.
I was swinging it, looked like 30 knots. There was something there. It looked like it didn't look like a bird, it looked like, no kidding, a rock to me. I kid you negative. I have no idea what it was, but basically, just heads up, try to stay away from 17,000, keep your nugget on a sole. I have no idea what it was.
Is that loud enough?
Use our radar to see if I can pick this object up.
Yeah, to me it
I
is.
picked it up twice. The first time I picked it up, my radar broke lock, so I thought
Yeah,
it was
it's too low.
some
Right?
kind of bad lock or potential chaff. And I'm going to turn back towards the north just a little bit.
Fuel pickup trail.
Back, I'm going to start coming back towards the west, just like, I think it was 004 for about 20. I've got it again. It's at 17.7. 3 miles off my nose at 17.7. I'm flying that way now. I'm going to slow down. I'm not going to get below 300 knots, but back towards you. Dude, I can't tell. Some small, very small black object. I had it at 17.7. It just flew right over me.
Confirm the object appears stationary.
Well, I couldn't tell because it was small. I think it's really about 30 knots.
Whoa, that's good.
80 knots.
Yeah, my radar showed between 30 and 60, so I have no idea what it's actually doing. But it went 17, the first time I saw it, to 17.7, so it's not falling. I don't think it was a bird.
Or locking it with auto guns.
What's that?
Are you taking a manual lock or is it an auto gun lock?
I'm getting with auto guns every time. Putting it at bullseye 009 for 15. Showing, again, basically no airspeed on it.
She was clean.
Say again.
She was clean. She was locked. Bullseye 012, 15, 18,000.
Alright, I'm going to, I'm up slightly here. I want to try to look at it, and then you follow it behind me if you can. Alright, 15,000. Dude, I have no idea what that is. But it just passed over me. I've got it, 17.
So why they're saying it's a small black object and he's saying it's not a bird, right? Now what's he mean by that? Bird is another plane? Or actually a bird? Because is he talking about a radar hit or visual hit?
Well, he's seen no idea.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing, this audio.
1,000 feet, 8 miles off my nose. Bullseye 049 for 20. 17,000, I'm going to get down to 16.5. It's 2.5 miles off my nose right now. 17,000 feet. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to slow down as much as you are. Maybe you can slow down just a little bit more and get a better look.
Copy.
I'm at 220 knots now maneuvering.
Copy, confirm you've merged with it.
I am about to merge right now. I'm seeing him maneuvering at me now. And I'm going to get my airspeed back before I maneuver. Are you locked or clean?
No joy, approaching line abreast with you. 2,000 feet high, 18.5.
Cover that, I'm in an easy right hand turn. You said you're at 18?
Yeah, climb back up to 19.5 now. You're 6 o'clock for about 3 miles.
Cover that.
Do you understand any of that?
Yeah, sure.
Well, it's
Yeah,
confusing.
it's pilot speak.
Pilot speak, alright.
If we are well clear, I will descend at this time. Fox, are we clear to deposit?
I'm not sure. Again, it stayed between 17 and 18, so I believe I'm in the vicinity, but I'm not 100% positive. One's flying. I have visual now. I'm going to fly underneath you.
Copy. I saw it, got time. I could not make out what it was.
You did see it?
Confirm.
And I'm going to circle back around. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see it through the HUD.
If we got somebody else out here with us.
Yeah, I see him. Dude, did you see anything?
So it sounded like they were talking about compass coordinates. Then they got a
Yeah,
visual.
well, no, there was an eye visual there. The guy said he actually spotted it. He seen it was eyeballs driving on his radar.
I'll just see if we can play a bit
I'm
of
going to
that.
use my radar to see if I can pick this object up
Sure.
again. I picked it up twice. The first time I picked it up, my radar broke lock, so I thought it was just some kind of bad lock or potential chaff. And I'm going to turn back towards the north just a little bit.
Fuel pickup trail.
Back, I'm going to start coming back towards the west just fine. I think it was 004 for about 20. I've got it again. It's at 17.7. 3 miles off my nose at 17.7. I'm flying that way now. I'm going to slow down. I'm not going to get below 300 knots, but back towards you. Dude, I can't tell. Some small, very small black object. I had it at 17.7. He just flew right, it just flew right over me.
Confirm the object appears stationary.
Well, I couldn't tell because it was moving so slow. I think it's moving at about 30.
Oh, God.
You're 80 knots.
Yeah, my radar showed between 30 and 60, so I have no idea what it's actually.
So there's something about a small black object that flew overhead. Flew past them. Or one of the fighters, anyway.
Well, yeah, it was small to him because he had maybe no judge of distance. If he had no,
Yeah.
he had no markers.
Oh, we got to the end of that, by the way.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Completely black and unlike any aircraft I had ever seen. But we got no picture drawing of it. So if they had a visual, couldn't they draw a picture of it?
Yeah, of course, but the guy had no reference points, so.
And this is 2007, right?
It's difficult to say the size and.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Nimitz case all over again, right? So, where's the gun footage? Yeah, so we got another link.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So that's what's really frustrating. If UK MAD released all their stuff, where's all the cam footage from?
Well, according to the MOD, they weren't even looking at flying saucers during this either.
F-15, you see.
We know they were.
I assume F-15s have
They're not
targeting
releasing
pods.
those files.
Is it loading? Here we go. Yeah, we got 5 people and we got 1 like, but their counters have gone down on this. So,
Oh, I'm not really bothered about that.
Oh, I am. That really annoys me. I should have checked in the afternoon. So this is Bent Waters, not to be mixed up with the one everybody talks about, obviously.
Yeah, Bent Waters in Suffolk.
So you want me to read out?
Hold on a minute. Can you go from the top of the article, please?
What, there?
Mate, I can't even like that. Let's have a look. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
RAF Bent Waters will always be synonymous with the Rendlesham Forest incident of 1980, often dubbed as Britain's Roswell, but the following 1956 sighting reported in the predominantly phony Condon Report of 1969 reveals that UFOs had already been officially reported over the Air Force Base nearly 25 years earlier. Undoubtedly one of the most important UFO events in both the Blue Book files and the Condon Report, the Bent Waters Lakenheath UFO incident, which was a nighttime case occurring near both bases in east-central England between 13-14 August 1956, impressed Dr. James E. MacDonald and Drive J. Allen Hynek, and was also significant enough to catch the eye of the Condon Committee just over a decade later. The initial reports centered around RAF Bent Waters, located near the coast about 6 miles east of Ipswich, while much of the subsequent action took place some 20 miles northeast of Cambridge, around Lakenheath RAF station.
Yeah. So there's your official documents.
Yeah.
Dr. James E. MacDonald wrote, "This Lakenheath case was not known outside of USAF circles prior to publication of the Condon Report. None of the names of military personnel involved are given in the Condon Report. Witness names, dates, and locales are deleted from all of the main group of cases in that report, seriously impeding independent scientific check of case materials. I secured copies of the case file from Blue Book, but all names of military personnel involved in the incident were cut out of the Xerox copies prior to releasing the material to me."
So what have we got here? Very faded document.
Plenty. Sure it is, but it just shows what an interest was taken in the case.
Also, they tried to erase it. And you don't want to read.
No, it's just faded.
You just don't want to try and read that, do you?
No.
The Condon Report, although disposed of suspicion that perhaps some sort of anomalous radar propagation might be involved, does concede that Lakenheath is an unexplained case. Indeed, The report ends its discussion with the quite curious admission that, in the Lakenheath episode, the probability that at least one genuine UFO was involved appears to be fairly high, said MacDonald. The first radar sighting of a UFO occurred at 21:30, followed by the second radar sighting between 21:30 and 21:55. In the report to Blubbook, the technical sergeant, name omitted from report, revealed that these objects appeared as normal targets on the scope, and that normal checks made to determine possible malfunctions in the radar failed to indicate anything was technically wrong. Ranging between 80 and 125 miles per hour, the dozen or so unknown flying objects were moving together towards the northeast, and the 12 to 15 unidentified objects were preceded by 3 objects which were in a triangular formation with an estimated 1,000 feet separating each object in this formation. The official report states that the dozen objects to the rear were scattered behind the lead formation of 3 at irregular intervals, with the whole group simultaneously covering a 6 to 7 mile area. 21:55 extremely high-speed radar visual, approximately 18,000 miles per hour EW radar track at brilliant white light, which from about 30 miles E to 30 miles W passed directly over the radar site and streaked under C-47 at 4,000 feet near base. Radar confirmed the anomaly to be at an extremely low altitude, roughly 2,000 feet, which was also estimated by ground visual observers.
Looks like he's woken up. So what they're saying here, flying objects were moving together.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Yeah, 18,000 miles an hour in 1956.
Is this one 56 for sure?
It one hell of is 1956.
That's any year number mentioned.
Paul, scroll to the top.
1969, 1956. Reported in 1969. So it's dozen objects.
This is the 1956, yeah, and it's giving you a blow-by-blow account.
Yeah. I'm just trying to summarize what the information was there. So we got a dozen objects in 1956, ranging between 80 and 125 miles away. I guess that's what it means, I suppose.
Yeah. No, miles per hour.
Miles per
That's
hour.
MPH, Paul.
Ranging. We're moving together. So that's going really slow there.
Yes, they're capable of going slow as well, you know.
So, sounds almost like the Arnold sighting, right? So he saw... How many objects did he see again? 7, wasn't it? Doesn't
I think it might be 9 with a different one leading.
Yeah, they had...
Could be 7.
They're 2 different shapes. Crescent type one, wasn't it? And the other one was shaped like a capital D shape, whatever that was. A boomerang shape and a crescent capital D type shape craft he saw. But they weren't black. They were silver, I think. So what was the last bit on this one?
Well, I'd just like you to explain. Could do 18,000 miles an hour in 1956.
I'm just trying to find that bit where it says 18,000.
Surely debunker.
Where's the part in the description here? I've missed it. 22,000 feet.
Scroll up.
Yeah.
You can't miss these things, Paul. It's part of the game.
Yeah, I was concentrating on the admin function. So where's the 18,000 mentioned?
Tut.
Where is it in the text here? Oh, here we go. Extremely high speed radar visual, approximately 18,000 miles. So what's radar visual mean? It means it's on radar as well as by eye?
As by eye.
Or does it mean that the radar picked it up? I don't know. Moving east-west radar track.
Yes. multiple radar picked it up. Look, go down. Third radar sighting happened.
Yeah. 30 miles east of Bentwaters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if that's correct. But then again, the debunkers would say that could be radar, because the radar had problems back in those days. Atmospheric.
Okay, so yeah, but multiple radar pole, how can it all have problems?
Well,
when it was all working perfectly well before.
Well, you know, James Oberg.
Sounding like Mick West now.
No, Oberg.
Maybe you can tell me it was a seagull. It was going 2,000 miles an hour or 18,000 miles an hour.
Listen,
sure, that'd be good.
James Oberg debunked the 2 radar hits in New Zealand for that famous 1978 case, and he both
we all know that James Oberg is an idiot.
Well, I don't know about idiot, but he said the radars back then were known to have sometimes anomalous readings. So,
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so that accounts for the visual sightings as well, does it? Cool, let's move on.
Well, yeah, he said there were squid boat lights, but these ones, I don't know what the excuse was. So, who debunks this one? Did anyone out there debunk it?
No.
How about
I'm going to show you that.
Class?
Yeah, okay. Condom tried it, yeah.
Hynek would have been there.
Hynek could have been there, yes.
Yeah, he would have been trying to debunk it.
McDonald was there as well. And here we go. There's McDonald. There we go.
I think it's a bit before Class's time, is it? 56?
No, Class? Was it hell? The little... I won't mention his name. Yeah, the despicable little person was still around here at this time.
Yeah, so we'll read out the last bit here.
Sure.
So we've got some side chatters. So it looks like our system's coming right again now. So we've got 7 watching, or 8 watching, hasn't updated, and 3 likes. Thanks for the likes, guys.
Let's get on with it.
And waiting to see now. Nice pick.
USAF ground observers at RAF Lakenheath reportedly observed a luminous object come in on a southwesterly heading, stop, and then move off out of sight to the east, followed by the sighting of 2 moving white lights, where ground observers stated one white light joined up with another and both disappeared in formation together. No discernible features on the UFOs were sighted by the ground observers, but both the radar operators and the ground observers concurred in their reported descriptions that the objects were traveling at terrific speeds and then stopping and changing course immediately. McDonald stated, the fact that radar and ground visual observations were made on its rapid acceleration and abrupt stop certainly lent credulence, to the report. The incident saw another intercept mission where 2 pilots who faced an unknown form of reality were heavily frightened by the nocturnal encounters. Flying a Venom, the pilot on this occasion tried numerous evasive maneuvers but was unable to lose the UFO-like radar continuously tracked as a distinct echo behind the aircraft, echo implying that the distance between the 2 was greater than about 500 feet according to the Blublock report. Pilot advised he was unable to shake the target off his tail and requested assistance. Lakenheath then ordered a second Venom to tail the unknown object, but before he got close enough began experiencing engine malfunction and returned to base. The following conversation was monitored by the Lakenheath watch supervisor between the 2 Venom pilots.
Yeah, now that's fairly scary. If something's clinging to your tail as a fighter pilot and you keep maneuvering, you dive, you turn, and it's still on your tail at exactly the same distance, then whatever that is behind you isn't something anomalous. It's obviously under intelligent control, and it's a bit smarter than you. So as a fighter pilot, it's be scared, be very scared. Yeah, I can't be fun. That is squeaky bum time.
So we got some pilot chatter here, but we haven't got a recording of it.
We have.
We got a recording?
And I hope it doesn't slaughter it. No, we don't have actual audio, no.
No, that's what I thought. Okay, you reckon it's going to slaughter it?
Number 2, did you see anything? Number 1, I saw something, but I'll be damned if I know what it was. Number 2, what happened? Number 1, he, or it, got behind me and I did everything I could to get behind him and I couldn't. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. The pilot of Venom number 1 also stated that there was something there that was solid, as he had radar gun lock for several seconds before he lost contact. Below is the Bentwaters Lakenheath incident from the Condon Report in its entirety, the Condon Report Case 2. Lakenheath, England 13-14 August 1956. The Condon Report, 2230-0330 LST. Weather, generally clear until 0300 LST on the 14th. For details see section IV. The probability that anomalous propagation of radar signals may have been involved in this case seems to be small. 1 or 2 details are suggestive of a, particularly the reported disappearance of the first track as the UFO appeared to overfly the Bentwaters crater. Against this must be weighed the Lakenheath controller's statement that there was little or no traffic or targets on scope, which is not at all suggestive of AP conditions, and the behavior of the target near Lakenheath apparently continuous and easily tracked. The tailing of the RAF fighter, taken alone, seems to indicate a possible ghost image, but this does not jibe with the report that the UFO stopped following the fighter, as the latter was returning to its base, and went off in a different direction. The radar operators were apparently careful to calculate the speed of the UFO from distances and elapsed times, and the speeds were reported as consistent from run to run, between stationary episodes. This behavior would be somewhat consistent with reflections from moving atmospheric layers, but not in so many different directions.
So, we got Chris on the side.
So it's sounding, to be honest, Paul, like a Tic Tac in 1956, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, maybe we can explain the Tic Tac away as some kind of DARPA drone, highly sophisticated new age drone, but we can't explain it away in 1956. 18,000 miles per hour in 1956, no, it's not happening. That is somebody else's tech. Yeah. It wasn't Russian, it wasn't Chinese.
Yes, but
so once you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. It's alien. That's what I'm saying.
Extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. Isn't it Stanton Freeman's line?
Not quite, no.
It's not his line? Is he quoting someone else? Who
that
else?
Sounds more like Seth Shostak, to be honest.
I don't know. So, yeah. What's Chris saying? How come no one is talking about it? The biggest UFO channel is faking videos. Because it's all covered up, that's right. Why they're not talking about these old cases, I don't know either, but we're doing it. So, scientific study of unidentified UFOs
don't need to fake anything. There's so many good cases out there.
Yeah.
There's no need to fake anything. If you can just look and find them, they are there.
Yeah, but they're not 10-minute sensational videos, unfortunately. It's pretty nitty-gritty stuff, But when you put it all together, then the picture starts to get more interesting.
Yes, it does.
By themselves, then they don't mean much. But when you start linking all the different cases, as we go over it in each week, we start to see patterns, like the red eye aliens last time. We saw patterns there and locations and the descriptions being similar, So here we got early Tic Tac.
Visual mirage at Bentwater seems to be out of the question because of the combined ground and airborne observations. The C-47 pilot apparently saw the UFO below him. The visual objects do not seem to have been meteors. Statements by the observers that meteors were numerous imply that they were able to differentiate the UFO from the meteors. In summary, this is the most puzzling and unusual case in the radar visual files. The apparently rational, intelligent behavior of the UFO suggests a mechanical device of unknown origin as the most probable explanation of this sighting. However, in view of the inevitable fallibility of witnesses, more conventional explanations of this report cannot be entirely ruled out.
Last bit of the article.
This 1956 account is extremely revealing as it highlights that intelligently operated flying machines are visiting sites housing nuclear weaponry, and as the 1980 Rendlesham Forest incident later showed, UFOs over Bent Waters and the other RAF bases have played host to a number of UFOs over the years. Such evidence suggests a solid connection between nuclear activity and UFO sightings, as I discuss in an earlier post-atomic interception. This particular case is of paramount importance because of the reliability of the RAF officials involved. As Gordon D. Thayer wrote, taking into consideration the high credibility of information and the cohesiveness and continuity of accounts, combined with a high degree of strangeness, it is also certainly one of the most disturbing UFO incidents known today.
And of course, you got Robert Hastings.
Robert Hastings, yes.
He wrote a book on
UFO nukes.
UFOs and nukes, and the claim is it's going to be the #1 best-selling UFO book ever, is what I heard on Twitter the other day.
Well, I don't know about that, but I tell you what, it's full value for money. I got in touch with Robert Hastings because he didn't have it on Amazon at the time. So I had to actually email him and get the book from there. And it's around 650 pages. It's a blockbuster.
Wow.
But I tell you what, you start reading it, you won't put it down. It's highly documented, with name people when he can name them, he will.
Right.
I tell you what, it's full value for money.
Yeah. So
It was 35 years of research went into that book. So not everybody that writes a book is there for money.
So the condom.
Yeah, sure. Well, be careful how you say that now. Because, because
I will probably
this was a dog and pony show. I have to say, I just have to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
I'll mute.
And Robert's always going to the toilet. I don't know how he would last in the pictures nowadays, especially those 3-hour-long ones. So I suppose we read out a chunk of it while he's away then. Page 50. It's not much there actually.
The Condon Report, Case 2. Lakenheath, England 13-14 August 1956. The Condon Report, 2230-0330 LST. Weather, generally clear until 0300 LST on the 14th. For details see Section 4. The probability that anomalous propagation of radar signals may have been involved in this case seems to be small. One or two details are suggestive of it, particularly the reported disappearance of the first track as the UFO appeared to overfly the Bent Waters crater. Against this must be weighed the Lakenheath controller's statement that there was little or no traffic or targets on scope, which is not at all suggestive of AP conditions, and the behavior of the target near Lakenheath, apparently continuous and easily tracked. The tailing of the RAF fighter, taken alone, seems to indicate a possible ghost image, but this does not jibe with the report that the UFO stopped following the fighter as the latter was returning to its base, and went off in a different direction. The radar operators were apparently careful to calculate the speed of the UFO from distances and elapsed times, and the speeds were reported as consistent from run to run, between stationary episodes. This behavior would be somewhat consistent with reflections from moving atmospheric layers, but not in so many different directions. Visual mirage at Bent Water seems to be out of the question because of the combined ground and airborne observations. The C-47 pilot apparently saw the UFO below him. The visual objects do not seem to have been meteors. Statements by the observers that meteors were numerous imply that they were able to differentiate the UFO from the meteors. In summary, this is the most puzzling and unusual case in the radar visual files. The apparently rational, intelligent behavior of the UFO suggests a mechanical device of unknown origin as the most probable explanation of this sighting. However, in view of the inevitable fallibility of witnesses, more conventional explanations of this report cannot be entirely ruled out. Source: The Condon Report. Page 245.
Yeah, so it takes a lot for the Condon Committee to actually say this is unexplained, but they had no choice but to say it was unexplained. And we all know what the Condon Committee was about. It was basically to shut down Project Blue Book, and it ran from was it 1965 to 1960? Sorry, 1967 to 1969, and successfully closed Project Blue Book down. And apparently, that was all official interest in UFOs had gone from that day on. But now, of course, we know that was not the truth.
No.
But there we are. Even they couldn't explain this one, even though they said, you know, it could have been something rational.
We got Shelley with us.
I think it was.
How's it going, Shelley? We thought you had a problem and dropped off.
Well, it's taken her an hour to tell us the sound's okay.
Well, that's good. We need regular thumbs ups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far it's been working alright, I think. Apart from the counters, but it's just something minor. So we got another link to go to here, or what?
Yeah, I think we're moving on to the next case now.
Oh yeah, we spent an hour on this. What? Hour on this one here.
Okay.
It's amazing how time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it's even Christmas, coming up.
It sure is. Happy Christmas, guys.
And Chris is giving us a thumbs up. Can hardly see that thumb though. What colour is that one? Is that a thumbs up? Yeah, it is. A bit hard to tell. It's a small font. And Robert's going to paste the link for the next part. So where are we heading to now?
We're staying in the same place because the thing I'm trying to establish is
right.
That area there with Rendlesham and even Lakenheath, it's not isolated incident by a long chalk. There's a lot going on there.
So it's Suffolk next, is it?
Suffolk.
Suffolk. Fuck.
Yeah, careful. Oh, careful now.
Almost stuffed up.
Leave that to me. Leave that to me, Suffolk.
Yeah. So we got condoms and all sorts tonight.
Yeah, we got the condom committee pot, and we've got Suffolk.
So it's all on a line here.
As in, it's Suffolk was from Southern folk when the Anglo-Saxon people arrived, and Norfolk, was Northern folk. Mm-hmm. Hence Norfolk. Jesus, I'm getting a bit close now. Let's come on. Let's move on.
Anyway, it's between the two locations that we've been talking about here.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah.
So you got the link now? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh well, if you can't laugh at mispronunciations of words.
Especially this time of year.
Well, this time of morning.
For you, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get up today, mate. I really didn't.
You shouldn't be partying all night long.
I was disturbed.
Alright. It wasn't a grey alien, was it?
No. It was alien, okay, and it wasn't grey.
You should be talking about your girlfriend like that.
Weird Suffolk, Hollesley, the UFO hotspot.
Hollesley. This looks like a regular village, doesn't it?
Yeah, Hollesley. Yeah, Hollesley. It's a village. Yeah, okay, but it's an interesting account, you know, and that's from a local paper. That.
Have you heard about UFO? Yep, small. That's how I read. So, is this what they're saying? A UK Roswell? I thought Bentwaters might have been.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
And there was a UFO crash, right? So this one landed, right? Not actually crashed, I think. We'll get there.
Well, I think with Rendlesham as well, I don't
thriving village. Hollesley's unusual claim has been somewhat foreshadowed by the mysterious UFO sightings in nearby Rendlesham Forest, where a series of unexplained lights in the sky in December 1980 became the UK's Roswell.
Yeah.
See, I didn't want to cover that because everyone knows about that incident and all the infighting that's been ever since, unfortunately.
What, the Bentwaters?
Oh God, yeah. So,
and of course there was a guy that made up stuff too, wasn't there? I forget his name.
Livy Warren.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he got Peter Robbins sucked into it as well.
What did he say exactly that was false? Do you remember?
Absolutely everything. He wasn't even there on the day, apparently. And but what he'd heard a bunch of rumours and turned them into a story because he wasn't there himself. He heard all the scuttlebug,
right? The
rumour mill, and he gathered all that together and made up the story that he was actually there and witnessed everything, and he put his 2 pence worth on top as well. So that in the end there was actually aliens meeting outside one of these ships with members of the military, which is complete and utter bullshit.
So he got caught out on the alien thing, did he?
He got caught out on a number of things, and he gets quite aggressive. When he gets caught out, he actually threatens people with his Hell's Angels friends. I've got friends now in ufology that actually showed me, you know, screen captures of messages that he sent them.
Oh, right.
You know, if you don't shut your mouth about me, I'll get my Hell's Angel mates on you.
That sounds like a Tyler Army, doesn't it?
Yeah. You're gonna be dead, and it's that kind of pathetic. And apparently, someone approached his Hell's Angels friends and asked him, "Do you know Livy Warren?" And they turned round and said, "Oh, you mean Livy the liar?"
Hey.
There you go. Enough said.
Yeah. Okay, just read out this bit.
But
then.
no, he's not a nice guy. He's not just a liar. He's not a nice guy.
Alright. So we're talking about this second case now.
Yeah, we're still in Suffolk, yeah.
We're talking about the land in UFO, so to speak. So we'll find out about it.
But there are claims that Hollesley had extraterrestrial visitors of its own 3 years after Rendlesham, and, in a further incident, again in 2017. The autumn of 1983 was colder than usual, and by the time Halloween was on the horizon at the end of October, there had been several sharp frosts and even some wintry showers, but the weather didn't deter some very unusual day trippers who paid an unexpected visit to Hollesley at the tail end of the month. Late one evening, in a clear dark sky, villagers reported seeing a large, dark-coloured, silent, triangular-shaped aircraft hovering above Hollesley for around 15 minutes. They were astonished to see the 3 lights on the base of the craft which lit up the ground spectacularly. Ron Macro told the press, "We froze. The lights were in a triangle and remained perfectly still. Whatever was in the sky flew over us. The lights beamed down and we heard a high-pitched whine.
So it sounds a bit like the Belgian wave there, doesn't it, with the triangle?
Yeah, that high-pitched whine. I've heard that in so many cases, you know?
Yeah. So that means it must have some engine in it that makes that noise, surely.
Yeah, well, is it an engine? As we describe an engine? It's not a combustion engine, is it? They never smell fuel.
Yeah. Well, it could be some sort of exhaust that comes from it, of course. And it's coming out of some sort of hole or vent that's open.
I mean, the frequency of the sound could just be... We just don't know. It's difficult to speculate.
Yeah, and a bit of trouble here with the rolling.
Yeah, that's ideal, Paul. That's fine.
Yep.
Debbie Foreman and Pauline Osborne were driving in Hollesley when the UFO appeared. As they drew close to it, the engine of Debbie's car began to splutter, the headlights faulted and then the engine cut out completely. Until then the car had behaved quite normally, said Debbie, but everything seemed to go wrong. Many attributed the craft to nearby area. Woodbridge. One resident, John Button, said, "If they are experimenting then we ought to be told. And if there's something flying around here which comes from outer space, we ought to be told about that, too." The answer from Woodbridge was concise. Nothing was seen on radar. I cannot say more than that. Fast forward almost 35 years, and there was a repeat visit from an unidentified flying object. In a submission to Beams, the British Earth and Aerial Mysteries Society, a witness offered an account of a strange occurrence which happened as they was driving in the Hollesley area which, they said, included an inexplicable time slip. The sighting happened on August the 31st, 2017 between 11 p.m. and 12:30 a.m.
I can hear a
okay. Now here we go again. The car engine's cut out. How many times does that happen? Over and over and over again. When are people going to get the message? There's some kind of EM effect, isn't there? Oh, Paul, you sound so skeptical. So what knocks out a car's engine then, time and time and time again? Yeah, in proximity to these UFOs. Come on, Paul, give me an explanation for it. I'm waiting.
What year was the car make? 2000s?
Come on, remember Leveland in the 50s?
So it would have had a computerized ignition system, right?
It's still doing it now.
Yep, nothing on radar. Where did we get down to at the bottom of that, didn't we? So what's all this here on the map?
Okay, that's the proximity of the sightings around this East Anglia area, which is Norfolk, Suffolk and Cambridgeshire. Yeah. So you look at them, and some of them, as you can see, are supernatural as well. So this is where the whole thing may tie in. I don't really know.
Yeah, there's a lot of little ghosties everywhere. And what's the stars?
Yeah.
Where's the UFOs, though?
But if you're looking for Rendlesham, you're looking quite close to the coast there.
What's the lightning strikes? So where's the... I better zoom out. Where's the legend on it? Have we got a legend? To tell us what the symbols mean. Well, ghost is ghost. And we got heart symbol, I think. Yeah. And we got a book, whatever that is.
To be honest, I didn't look into it too closely because I just knew there was a whole lot of activity going on there.
Yeah, what's that one there? Is that UFO? Alright, so the little blue ones are UFO sightings. But what's these lightning ones? That's kind of strange. And what's the star ones mean? So we got no idea what map means, really. Maybe it says in the rest of the text.
Maybe so.
I was picking my daughter up from work, and when driving past Sutton-Heath with Rock Barracks on the left, I saw a flash line of bright white light above the trees ahead and to the right. I asked what that was, and my daughter thought maybe streak lightning. I was doubtful, as it didn't look like that to me, said the witness. The lights appeared every few minutes. The pair drove towards Hollesley Bay Prison and saw a ball of stationary white light above a building, which then suddenly disappeared before another light sphere appeared to the left, then darted into a garden above a low bush before vanishing again. Perplexed, the pair drove towards Bordsea, but interest piqued, headed back to where they had seen the lights, driving on a single-track tree-lined road where they saw another ball of light which disappeared in a flash. They immediately found themselves outside Hollesley's village shop.
Wow. So these guys have moved. Yeah. Of course, the skeptic will put it down to ball lightning and memory lapse. Yeah. But these people have gone from one position to another, and they've seen a flash of light. Now, maybe we should be taking that into account. Or they're just lying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's telling fibs.
Renee's joining us on the side chat. How's it going? So it says
about time, Renee.
Haven't seen you around lately, but it is early in the morning now. What is the time now? Probably 8 a.m. in New York.
It takes at least 10 minutes to get to Hollesley shop from the road leading to Bordsea, where we turned in the road. If we were driving fast, but we were crawling, and we would have had to turn left at the crossroads and drive through Alderton. But we never reached the crossroads, didn't drive through Alderton or take any turnings. It was as though we'd just been teleported from one place to another. The light was like a vibrating wave in the air. We saw it twice more, this time above sea to the left where no planes or boats were.
So that's what we got.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But it's interesting, isn't it? To say the least.
Yeah.
And that reader just destroys the case, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go back down to that last sentence, last paragraph, please, Paul.
That one there, about 10 minutes.
Yeah, there we go. It takes at least 10 minutes to get to Hollesley shop from the road leading to Bordsea, where we turned in the road.
Mm-hmm.
If we were driving fast, but we were crawling. If we were driving fast, but we were crawling, and we would have had to turn left at the crossroads and drive through Alderton, but we never reached the crossroads, didn't drive through Alderton or take any turn-ins. It was as though we'd just been teleported from one place to another. Well, that says it all, doesn't it?
Missing time, I'd say.
Missing time, yeah.
They're saying it's continuous time, so they probably would have been released, and that's when they woke up again, and the car's driving along. Mm-hmm. So I wonder how they're abducted, though. Did they abduct the whole car and just beam it up?
Yeah, well, it kind of reminds you of Betty and Barney Hill, doesn't it? When they woke up actually driving, or they came down actually driving the car. You'd think that's quite dangerous, isn't it? You know?
Yep. Especially if they get
things seem to happen.
Yeah. Especially if you get the passengers swapped around by accident, and one's an underage person that doesn't know how to drive a car. But anyway.
Oh Jesus, Paul! Yeah, that would be scary. Yeah.
Well, they have trouble with zippers and buttons, apparently, aliens, and they get the clothes inside out and back to fronts and all sorts of crazy stuff. So Not
Yeah.
surprising that they may get the person in the wrong seat, but who knows? So there might be.
Remember Stan from Wales? They dumped him on his balcony.
Yeah.
Didn't even put him back in his bed.
And he could just walked over the edge. So what else? What else we got to this thing? We need another line. Got anything else to add?
I think you even have got to the bottom of it.
Well, that's a really short one. No pictures of what the aliens look like, and no drawings.
I don't think anyone mentioned seal aliens.
No. So you got another link to the next one, is it? What's the next location?
I have. Yeah, this is quite an interesting case, this.
I've got a wee bit of hay fever in my eyes, so it's got a water in it.
Don't worry about it, it's Christmas.
I can't breathe and I can't see.
It's the time of misery.
It is, it really is. Hello, Cubid. So we got another link. So where are we going to now? Where is Robert taking us on the UK countryside?
We are still in the same area.
So, and military.
It's amazing how you can just stay in one little area and still find, but there's plenty happening.
Yeah.
Just in one confined area. And everyone, unfortunately, thinks that they live in a hotspot.
Yeah.
And this is happening a lot more than what we think,
Yeah. So I'll just read out the heading.
Yeah, sure.
Armed military ordered bait diggers to stay off British beach after seeing mysterious triangle UFOs.
So again, we got no pictures or any video or drawings by the looks of it, and we just got a standard artist graphic there, stock image.
The appearance of two triangular UFOs created a buzz not only to bait diggers working on a beach, but also the military. The two workers said they had seen the mysterious objects that seemed to enter the sea at Wilsthorpe Beach in East Yorkshire. Paul Sinclair, a paranormal investigator, talks about the Wilsthorpe incident in a new book. The event has been dubbed as the Britain's new Roswell because of the strange military activity apparently connected to UFO sightings. The two workers were employed in a bait shop at nearby Bridlington Harbour. They were working when the incident took place. Mr. Sinclair said the two men were at Wilsthorpe digging in the mastides when they saw triangles going into the sea. Then soldiers with guns asked the two workers what they were doing and where they were going. The soldiers reportedly told them to stay away from the beach to avoid arrest. The bait diggers claimed that they hung around looking the military men from the cliffs. They saw the military men had what appeared to be metal detectors while going up and down the beach. Mr. Sinclair also shared how a married couple in their 80s spotted around 30 to 40 UFOs hovering above the same beach in the night. The next day, the military operation took place. The incident happened on September the 14th, 2009, at 11 p.m. The pair lived in a flat that overlooked the sea at Wilsthorpe. When the couple decided to go to bed, the woman saw a glow outside. Something told the woman to go outside. She opened the front door and looked towards the sea where she saw several glowing UFOs over the coast. She described the mysterious things as 15 feet long and 8 feet wide. She claimed that they left after about half an hour. The next day, the couple saw two Chinook helicopters landed at the beach by the remote hamlet. These helicopters were full of RAF personnel, according to the couple. A man working on a boat at Blythe Park confirmed the presence of the military personnel. Mr. Sinclair tried to find out the reason of the military operation on September the 15th through submitting a Freedom of Information request to the Ministry of Defence, MOD. The office responded saying that it was just a routine military exercise and no live ammunition was used. It added that explosions were controlled detonations of simulated ammunition. It also revealed that when they conducted regular exercises such as the one in question, they would seek landowners' consent. Nevertheless, Mr. Sinclair still believes it is connected to a high level of reported UFO activity between May and September 2009 in the East and North Yorkshire coast. He stated that the case did not yet prove to be UFO related. However, after investigating the case and obtaining historical Coast Guard reports from the period, he thinks the military arrived due to the presence of the unidentified flying objects.
You said it was in the same area, but on the map it seems to want to go...
Yes, it is. Oh, it's East Anglia, to the same area.
Yorkshire.
See that big thing that sticks out there?
Well, Yorkshire is up here, it reckons.
Oh, yeah, Yorkshire's, yeah. Okay, we were in the same area. We were in the same area. But let me pull you up on one thing now, Paul. You kind of miserably said there, no photos or video evidence. So, in that context, shall we just dismiss every witness statement then? I'm asking you a question now.
Depends if it's multiple witnesses or not, doesn't it?
Well, it seems to be here.
And how credible they are, right?
Sure.
But here we're talking about two black triangles.
Not just that.
Going into the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Seen near the beach.
And a military presence.
Yeah. So that was on the map. I was just trying to find it. It was up here somewhere. That's what I got.
But it's still North Sea.
Yeah, it's still on that side. There you go.
Yeah.
So there's...
which we'll look at in a little bit.
Yeah. Between those locations on the coast anyway. So, yeah. Whenever we heard about the black triangles going to the sea, there was a recent guy called... not Kevin Day, but Kevin someone else. I forgot his last name already. Who said in 1991 on the Nimitz, he got locked outside on a order to go inside, battle conditions or something to go inside, and he got locked out because he was too slow, and he was seeing what was going on, and he saw a triangle craft coming out the sea, and it was sort of like half out, half in, and he said it sort of looked like it was actually not pushing the sea away. The sea wasn't lapping up on it. It was sort of like a dip in the water. And then it gradually lifted up and shot away really quickly. So,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a more detailed account, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then he got interrogated by two men. Asking him why he was locked outside and did he see anything, and he said no, which is probably a clever thing, because maybe something might have happened to him, and he might have to sign a non-disclosure thing and all that sort of business.
Yeah, NDA,
But yeah, he's in hiding in a farm apparently anyway. He doesn't want to be on TV and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that guy, yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. I'm not really sure of his credibility, but yeah, I've heard of that case.
Yeah, but you can see that To the Stars hasn't brought it up though. And of course we got the other eyewitness account during the Nimitz saying that a typical saucer come out the water, not a tic-tac shape at all, and hovered and shot off. But does that mean that all those people saw not the same craft but multiple craft. See, again, we don't know. So, well, did we read all that out?
Yeah, that's very interesting because I wasn't aware of that, Paul, to be honest.
Yeah, I've covered it in lives previously. What's Renee saying? Renee, you do like to talk.
Oh, Rene's just doing his normal thing.
Yeah. I thought it might have been on the case. Maybe he had some information on it. But, yeah, do we go to the next thing, or what? What's going on, Robert?
Have we finished this article?
I thought we got to the end. Did we? Maybe
Okay.
I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Bait diggers. I thought I went to the end on it, but we'll just read out the last couple of paragraphs just in case. So I don't know now.
Yeah.
It's got MAD.
The next day, the couple saw 2 Chinook helicopters landed at the beach by the remote hamlet. These helicopters were full of RAF personnel, according to the couple. A man working on a boat at Blythe Park confirmed the presence of the military personnel. Mr. Sinclair tried to find out the reason of the military operation on September the 15th through submitting a Freedom of Information request to the Ministry of Defense, MOD. The office responded saying that it was just a routine military exercise and no live ammunition was used. It added that explosions were controlled detonations of simulated ammunition. It also revealed that when they conducted regular exercises such as the one in question, they would seek landowners' consent. Nevertheless, Mr. Sinclair still believes it is connected to a high level of reported UFO activity between May and September 2009 in the east and North Yorkshire coast. He stated that the case did not yet prove to be UFO related. However, after investigating the case and obtaining historical Coast Guard reports from the period, he thinks the military arrived due to the presence of the unidentified flying objects.
So, well, didn't the MAD release all their records? So where's all the information on this one?
Oh, it's Project Condine.
Yeah, but the MAD UK released all their documents, they reckon. But didn't I hear that they held some back?
No, they held quite a few back. They held about a third of them back. Yeah.
Yeah, so they kept all the best stuff to themselves still.
And Nick Pope was saying there's no other observation going on apart from where I was.
Right.
And the whole time this is going on behind his back. Well, he either knew about it or he lied to us. One of the two. So he didn't have a need to know or he lied. It was one of those two, basically. But the MOD is even more shifty than the CIA or whatever. NSA,
And didn't
DIA, DOD.
Nick Pope, he had some photograph. Now, went into that photograph that he kept talking about.
Yeah, that came from Scotland. There were a couple of hikers, and apparently it was the best photo ever. And Nick Pope said he had it on his wall in his office. And one day, a couple of guys came in, no explanation, took it off the wall, never to be seen again.
Very interesting.
And it was best evidence ever, apparently, and it was 2 hikers in Scotland.
So we got the Scottish case coming up next, have we?
We've got one case come, yeah, okay, but I'd like to carry on a little bit of this first. I'll paste it for you now, Paul.
Yeah. So it's not going to be Nick Pope's photograph, the Scottish case.
No, when we get to the Scottish case, we haven't got there yet.
No. That's what I mean. The one we're going to talk about is not the Nick Pope one.
Well, I think Nick Pope gets his teeth into anything that's UK, but he's not trustable. I mean, you got to remember now that anything, any of his books, any of his articles have to go through the MOD, and he said this himself. Fair play, he said this himself. They have to go through the MOD for clearance before, and they can edit what he's saying. Of course, if it's not.
Yeah.
Well, so who are we listening to? Are we listening to Nick Pope or the MOD? Or are we listening to a combination of both? You know, if it's not fit for MOD purposes, then it doesn't go out. It's that simple.
Why is it not selecting? Is it graphic there or something?
Nah, probably because you haven't gone to the top of the page.
No, it's doing something crazy here. See that?
Okay.
It's something to do
That's
with
not good.
Something to do with that header. Get rid of it. See if that fixes it. No, got something else happening in select language. Something strange happening here. Let me just.
Oh, never mind, Paul. It's not a massive issue. We can read that, mate. Okay.
Yeah. Think you might have to
keep it still out. Yeah. Okay. A British AVF squadron was seen by multiple witnesses swarming an area of coastline that had been plagued by mysterious UFO sightings. Oh God, the Express.uk can exclusively reveal. Never trust the British press. The case of Wilsop incident is being investigated after a number of witnesses to bizarre events along the 25-mile stretch of East Yorkshire and North Yorkshire coast were discovered.
Rene is looking at the Christmas tree, and I said it looks like a UFO shooting a laser beam on top of the tree. It looks pretty cool.
Sure. So witnesses reported seeing strange lights, an odd-shaped craft in an area from Brandesburton in East Yorkshire to Scarborough, North Yorkshire between May and September 2009. In some cases, UFOs are seen entering the sea and cars ground to a halt as one appeared. It is claimed. Yeah, but that's typical, isn't it? Yeah. It's another case again. Okay, so 2 Chinook helicopters full of IDF personnel landed at the beach by the remote hamlet of Wiltsthorpe, East Yorkshire, blah blah blah, September 15, 2009. At the height of the sightings, paranormal researcher Paul Sinclair has revealed. Do you know what? It's dramatising the whole thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of been over this before.
Yeah.
But it's the elderly couple that is the most interesting part of it. Can you scroll down, see if that's there, to where the elderly couple are?
Just trying to do something. What happened there? Chinook helicopter. Military action. What's that picture of there? Two witnesses. That kind of looks like a military flare there. Flying low.
There we go. It was not until 2014 when he interviewed the couple, aged in the 80s, about their experience in 2009 that he realised it was one of the UK's most important UFO incidents. The couple lived in one of 30 flats that overlooked the sea in Winslow. Mr. Sinclair told the conference that the woman described seeing on September 14, 2009, 15 feet long and 8 feet wide spaceships over the sea. She said there was a huge circle of boomerang-shaped craft. So what she's seen was multiple craft over the sea. And it correlated with that guy's triangular sightings going into the sea. Plus you have the military presence.
Yep.
So it makes for a fairly good case.
Well, boomerang shape would, if you had lights on the nose and the wingtips would be a triangle.
Yeah. I didn't think of that.
Of course, we didn't know if the triangle was like, like a wedge or a V shape.
Yeah. So what she could have seen was just the lights. Yeah. Rather than making the shape itself. And the bait diggers, they would have seen it more close up because they were digging bait. They were down on the beach rather than further back at the flat. Yeah, so that kind of makes sense.
So we've got Ellie on the side, a respect.
It's probably the first case of a triangle actually disappearing into the sea.
Paul, that's a UFO.
Come on, Paul. Wake up and sound now enthusiastic, will you?
Yeah, I'm just seeing what they're saying on the sides here. I'll just zoom in so you can have a look. Linda Moulton Howe and respect in the same sentence. No, Paul, that's a UFO, so he reckons it's not a military flare. But that doesn't look like a triangle shape there, though, does it? It's a bit hard to tell. Looks like it's like gone around like that.
Yeah,
so.
Denny loves Linda as well. Just my opinion on Linda is I think she's a decent person, no doubt about that. I just think she's been the victim of disinformation over the years.
I think she's a wee bit too open-minded. Have an open mind, but not too open that your brain falls out. So, I don't know if I can select it. No, so I can't select it. She said there were 2 loads, 30 to 40, and the sea below was bubbling, banging, and crashing.
Where have you heard that before?
Bubbling. Nimitz case.
Nimitz.
Shag Harbour. Maybe.
Yes, Shag Harbour.
I think that's what I can remember. So
there's been other accounts, but not as well documented.
No. So the woman said that after about half an hour, the craft flew off. Next day, the couple said they saw the military swarming all over the beach.
Okay, so that goes to bait diggers, yeah? Mr. Sinclair also spoke of a man who runs a bait shop at Bridlington Harbour, who told him his bait diggers had seen triangle craft enter the sea in 2009 over the same period. He said 2 of his bait diggers been on Wilsfop Beach the day the couple saw the military operation. So the military didn't deny they were there, but what they turned around and said, it was an ongoing operation, basically. Just happened to coincide with the event.
Yep. Military operations, they told of seeing triangles in from the sea and later being surrounded by soldiers or troops. Specifically, a man working on a boat at Plymouth Park boat compound also confirmed the military presence. Mr. Sinclair, who continues to investigate the case, had correlated a record of other UFO sightings in the area from at least May 2009 that were either reported in local newspapers or directly to his website.
Yeah. These include the pink flying saucer, 3 star-like objects over Flandre Head, East Yorkshire on May 10, 2009. 2009 now. A huge UFO. Driftfield 6 days later. A spherical shaped craft seen by 9 people at Riverhead 3 days after that. Okay.
Why a pink flying saucer though? That's kind of weird.
Well, not really. I've heard that before.
Really? I'll have to go there. He revealed sightings that continued throughout June and July, including spheres of light over the sea, plus triangle, circular, and egg-shaped craft. What does he mean by egg-shaped though? Fat at one end, rounded at the other, like an egg. Witnesses included trawler men and retired police officer. So we got a cop. He also had reports of cars stopping working after UFO sighting, including a black triangle object. The vehicles worked fine after the UFO flew out to sea.
So it's multi-witness.
Yeah, these include an off-duty policeman driving back from Boston, East Yorkshire, whose car lights dimmed after a large tube-shaped UFO appeared. So that's a cigar, I guess. Mr. Sinclair said witness, including himself, also saw unusual high levels of military aircraft in the area at the peak of the sightings spates. So, yeah. Unfortunately, again, we got no pictures of what they saw. Yeah, it's a shame that we don't have like contact lenses we wear that record everything we see, because that would really help out nowadays, I reckon. Maybe that'd be the future. He said RF helicopters had flown exceptionally low over the home at times. Why would they fly low though? That doesn't make any sense. Because that just annoy people, including when they recorded them 3 days after the military presence on September 18th. He said, why were these planes there? What was so important at the time? Does that mean there were a UFO presence? No, but it means there was a military presence. We still get military aircraft in the air, but you never get them flying over the rooftops. So why would they fly over the rooftops? Because normally you do that to avoid radar, right?
Look, listen, Paul. Yeah, low flying. Yeah. I live 7 miles from RAF Valley. Anyone can look that up and look at my location, Holyhead. It's 7 miles from where I live to RAF Valley, which is a training base for pilots. They fly over the flaming rooftops here. Yeah, so low, sometimes it's unbelievable. It's part of the training.
Yeah, of course. Training.
Low flying to go underneath radar. So they do that, and that's how it is. and it makes one hell of a den. And occasionally, very occasionally, they break the sound barrier, which makes a boom. Occasionally, it breaks glass. It shakes the house. You feel like it's an earthquake. But that's what they do. It's a training base.
Yeah.
So there's nothing unusual there at all.
So requested freedom of information to MOD. The response he eventually revealed said it was just a routine military exercise and a few other details were provided. So maybe the flying low is a cover story then for military practice, right?
Yeah. If they're not doing it on a regular basis, then I'd be suspicious.
No live ammunition was used, and any explosions heard were controlled detonations of simulated ammunitions.
Well, that's not unusual either. So, yeah, but it does sound like a cover story, doesn't it?
Yeah, could be. Response added that it was one of a number of regular exercises, a part of work to defend the UK. So yeah, if you got people seeing triangles, cigars, and disc-shaped craft, and especially entering the sea, that sounds like a cover story. Because yeah, it's a bit strange that no one got any pictures though. Just to say, there you go, military, you can't cover that up. I suppose happens so quick, right? Time you got your app loaded on your smartphone, it's gone. It's gone into the sea or whatever, right? So it's gone too far away to get it on camera. He continues to investigate the case and try to obtain historic Coast Guard reports. But the Coast Guard wouldn't be there if they were doing military exercises, so... They have a post on the Truth Proof Facebook page. He wrote, when I filmed... he's got helicopters. Filmed the helicopters, I had no idea there were any connection to a UFO incident. So far it's taken 7 years to connect these events. Mine and other people who have been bold enough to submit their accounts. As a collective, they tell amazing story that, if true, stands with the great UFO incidents of our time. Nothing found can prove without any certainty that UFOs were over the sea, as an elderly couple claim, or the black triangles entered the sea in September 2009, like the bait diggers described. All I can do is stack the evidence for or against. So yeah, bait diggers are talking about people that collect and digging up worms from the beach for fishing.
Yeah, I used to do that for a living once, you know. It was quite good. It was hard work, it was backbreaking, but you could make a lot of money, you know.
Winkles and what's the other stuff they dig up from the beaches?
Oh, no, we used to dragworm, we used to dig. But winkles and cockles, yeah. Can make money from them as well.
Condoms and cockles.
Careful.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, we got to the end of that. So we got another link.
Yeah, I think so. We have.
Yeah, so if you missed the beginning of the show, we're talking about the Condon report and various other things in UK that went down.
Anyway, let's have a look at this so-called base in the North Atlantic. And I think I'm not going to say anything.
Well, let's have a look at it, I guess.
Yeah.
You dealt to credentials. You talked about Linda Hull.
Yeah. Don't doubt her credentials, Paul. I just doubt her state of mind and what they've done to her.
Yep.
I really believe that, she's a victim of misinformation, disinformation.
Yeah, from lots of people though.
from lots of people, yeah. But luckily then to Paul Benowitz, they put him in the loony bin. He didn't live long after that. And Richard Doty has a lot to answer for. And Richard Doty was very much a part of Linda Moulton's house life at the time. And so were others of the same ilk. They've damaged her. I don't care what anyone says, they've damaged her.
Well, she seems to be making good money from it, though.
It doesn't matter. She's making good money, Paul. If her mind's not right, money's no good to anyone if your mind's not right.
Well, maybe she don't think she's got a mental problem. There's only you and some other people that think that. Yes.
Okay.
So this is the one in Scotland now, is it? So let's find it. No?
No. We're looking at the embassy base in North Atlantic, Paul. Come on, get with it, lad.
Right, there's the base. Okay.
The Strange Tale of Tom Preston UFOs in the North Atlantic.
Come on.
Yeah. Don't rush me.
Move.
That's where it goes wrong.
Okay.
The Strange Tale of Lieutenant Tom Preston is perhaps all the more mysterious as Tom Preston is a false name. According to UFO research and author Walter N. Webb, who would take the account in 1984, Preston still felt the need to protect his identity despite the events he would speak of taking place over 2 decades earlier in 1963. Furthermore, as these reports, and many like them, came to light as whistleblowers volunteered information and government files became declassified, possible links began to suggest themselves to other such cases. Indeed, isolated instances began to look more and more like a bigger picture that requires solving.
Look who it is.
Yeah. Now that to me looks just like a twister or a lightning strike.
That's a water spout, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, and that looks like an aircraft.
Well, all CGI. Yeah, but this, I think
CGI. Yeah,
I think this one was like a black seagull. It appeared black, or something similar to a bird flying past. Anyway, I think it's been debunked anyway. Scott Brando put up something on that one. So read out the next bit.
While many people will first imagine UFO sightings over a lonely road or in the middle of the otherwise quiet countryside, there are also multiple sightings of strange crafts over the planet's waters. Many even speak of such objects emerging from or entering these waters, suggesting to some a plethora of theories. These range from underwater portals to top-secret alien bases at the bottom of the Earth's oceans. Before we look at some of those, and indeed Tom Preston's account, check out the video below. It features some of the strangest UFO sightings captured over the planet's seas and oceans.
Let's talk about...
you see, this Tom Preston's account, which is a pseudonym, this is interesting. This is the only reason I brought this up. Because if true, it's a shocker.
Yeah, but he's making reference to security, and anything that he puts up, you can't say is real. So this shows how much advertising security gets, because these people use their videos in their web pages.
Yeah, I know.
And then ship. So hopefully the stories are right. But I won't trust anything in that video.
No.
Unnamed ship, North Atlantic Ocean, 1963. Preston states, the Royal Navy ship just off the coast of Norway suddenly hit a craft on their radars. It would then seemingly break the surface of the water, disappearing rapidly below. They were on non-specific exercises, and while only 29 years old, Preston had vast experience of the ship's radar sonar systems. As such, he would be at the center of the events as they began to unfold. In all, Webb put forward that Preston is a very credible witness. A co-worker at the Boston Museum of Science first brought his attention to Preston's story. Valerie Wilcox, knowing of Webb's interest in such things, would tell him of Preston's account. Wilcox's friend had married Preston, and he had settled in the United States.
Okay. So, got another.
Yeah, but you see, it's a one witness account. It's not even his real name. I just thought the researcher tracked him back to see if he was where he was supposed to be at that time.
Yeah.
But we don't know, do we?
No, I don't like single witnesses. Two witnesses.
No, do I. It's a hell of a story. I've heard that kind of tale before, but we can't rely on that.
No.
The object had shown on Preston's radar screen out of nowhere, suggesting to him it travelled at great speed. It came to a complete stop, although no visual confirmation came forth. Other ships in their location would confirm they too had the object on their radar screens. This rules some kind of malfunction of the radar or sonar equipment. Once under the water, they did manage to track it for several minutes. However, due to the absolute speed, it moved. Before long, it was out of range. Following the account, Preston and the crew would be subject to reminders that he had signed the Official Secrets Act. He must not, under any circumstances, speak of the day's events. Even more startling to Preston was the fact the ship's logbook was replaced with a brand new and empty one.
So, what's this picture here?
Yeah, it's...
A USO.
Yeah, coming out of the water, making a big splash.
I don't think they make a big splash, though. That's the thing. It's like the water parts. It's not even touching the skin.
Yeah, I've heard that kind of melts it.
Yeah, it's like it's sort of pressed in like a cookie cutter. You know, like the hole there was made for it, which makes sense if you had a field around it. That sort of pushed, because water, as you know, you can actually push it with a magnet. Bend it coming out the tap. You can put it.
See, then it would make sense with the O'Hare case.
In what way? That the hole in the cloud.
Clouds are full of water vapor, aren't they?
So as it went up, it pushed it apart.
And it yes.
Well, also
if made that perfect.
Well, if they're spinning,
perfect hole.
Well, if they're spinning, they create a vortex like a tornado hole, right? So it's going to make a perfect hole as it goes up. But, here we go, on to the next bit.
Yeah, this is where it gets even more dubious.
Yeah, so everybody's saying that the US military renaming UFOs to UAPs to give it a rebranding. But it might be the case that people have been searching the Freedom of Information stuff for UFOs, and they might just have a different name for it completely. They might not call it even UAPs. They might call it something else. You know, they might call it They might call it UAAPs. So when you request
demons,
yeah, they could give them a nickname like demons or angels and stuff. Which means if you ain't so if you ain't searching the records, requesting the records with the right words, they return nothing back, right?
Well, Santa Claus is quite appropriate, isn't
it? That's the NASA thing, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
I think the wasn't it Santa Claus?
Right. You're breaking up again, I think. But how's it sounding on Google?
The RAF Bulmer sighting, North Sea, July 1977, slightly south of Preston's ship's position in the North Sea, off the coast of northeast England. Another strange event would unfold in the summer of 1977. The incident came to light shortly before 3 decades later in 2005 when classified files came into the public domain. And this only came about due to a request under the Freedom of Information Act would force their hand. Flight Lieutenant Amwood would make a report from RAF Bulmer in Northumberland. He could clearly see strange, bright objects hanging over the North Sea. Estimations would suggest the objects be around 5,000 feet in the air and 3 miles from the coast. The radar system on the base also displayed their presence. Furthermore, 2 more servicemen sat at the picket post of the base made reports of observing the floating lights. According to their records, the lights remained visible for at least 90 minutes before simply vanishing.
Yep. So it looks like the counters have been fixed now. That's good.
Now, other notable USO sightings. Okay. Many of the reports of strange sightings over many other
Are you going to read
planets,
it
oceans, lakes, surface each year. We have written before that, for example, of the chilling accounts of Puffin Island. Now, we've actually proven that to be a complete load of bollocks. Remember we covered that one before? An alien base, Puffin Island, 30 feet of water at high tide. So if there's an alien base there, I tell you what, you could paddle out there at low tide in summer, and go and meet the aliens.
Unless they hang on, unless the UFOs can pass through solid rock at the bottom of the sea and into a cavern.
God, you're making it possible, Paul.
Now I'm just being a believer. I'm sending it out your way. I'm turning the tables, so to speak. But
yeah, hell, you never know. Maybe they could do that.
Well, there has been UFO sightings where UFOs enter the side of mountains and the door doesn't open up. It just creates like a portal and just goes in. But the volcano UFOs are just nonsense. Most of those have been debunked. From long exposure of the moon is one of them.
I suppose you're quite right. For an intelligence that's maybe a million years ahead of us, they could do anything.
Yeah.
Jesus. Maybe we're trying to understand something that is just incomprehensible to us. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the Hopi Indians said the aliens went to a portal on the side of the mountain, or cliff, or whatever you want to call it. But, there is some connections there, various things that people say. So what else do we want to read out on this one there?
You can leave that one.
Yeah.
So I think you get a little bit silly after that.
And this one here is a fake. If you look at the original photographs, you can actually see a fishing line attached to the model. And the guy took a photograph on an angle where the sun reflected off the line. You can see it going across.
It's too clunky and too many appendages to be a UFO.
But it looks very similar to a patent that you can find, where it had a jet engine down the middle there, so it was actually like a jet-powered drone that they're experimenting with in the patents. But someone probably may have got hold of that patent and made a model based on it, and just strung it up in fishing line, which they did do. How they made that, I don't know. Well, Billy Meyer was rubbish tin lids and rivets and what else did he glue on? bits of metal from bits and pieces. His wife outed him eventually. Oh, I got a message popping up here. Right over the end string button of all things. If you accidentally slip and click the wrong button. Because it doesn't ask you whether you want to end a string. It doesn't give you an OK button. It should do, really. Eric Sampson, enjoying the early morning sun of Australia's summer in March 1993, suddenly had something catch his attention. From his position, he could see a huge object rising quietly out of the water. So, is that the same guy that filmed these ones, or not? Yeah, looks like it. So this one's talking about this one's. So this is what I mean. I don't think we can believe too much on this article here, because he's got hoaxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
That's what I want to stop it there, because I got suspicious. Yeah,
that's definitely a hoax. I think that's a video showing the pictures anyway.
See, this site is a good introduction to the subject, but it's not
accurate.
You know, it strays occasionally. It's never conclusive. It's never scientific. It kind of just leaves it out there, so which he says at the bottom.
Here's one talking about Malaysia. Let's just have a read of that one.
Yeah.
12 years later, while sitting on Tanjung Aru Beach in Malaysia at 7 a.m., George Matonjun and his wife would have a similar encounter. After dropping his daughter at school, Matonjun came to the beach to relax before it became busy later in the day. Upon sitting, they could see an odd movement to the water, as if something was moving towards Kauta Kinabalu Airport. The ripple in the water soon gave way to a solid object that would rise upwards while maintaining its course. Matonjun would later state how silent the craft and the surrounding area had suddenly become. They both followed the object until it had gone out of shot.
Okay, so that's two people, so that means two people got a lie without making it up. Well, this Tom Masson guy is just him, and he's the one that fabricated the models. In fact, if you search on his name, you'll probably be able to find him. I was just going to paste it, but I might just do a quick search, see if we can find something about the fishing line. I have covered it in my early lives.
Yeah, but this is not a debunking exercise, Paul. This is the positive stuff, yeah? You've always got your Sunday to do that.
Yeah. But you brought up the page. Let's see. I looks like he's got a Facebook.
Yeah, and I told you to end it where it did, but you never. You're determined to go on a wish hunt for a fishing line.
I think we might have a problem with the browser. Looks like it's a bit happened to that plugin there. It's never done that before though. Yep. Looks like it's crashed. Something went crazy there.
Well, that's what you get for trying to debunk a positive show.
Well, you put the jinx on it, guy, right? It would only done.
I never put the jinx on it. You put the jinx on it.
I'm not sure if I could.
You had to expose a known hoax. Why expose a known hoax? It was already known. So basically, you were being a smartass repeating what someone else had already done.
No.
Someone had exposed that long before you, and you had to show how it was done. And try and make out how clever you were in the making of it.
No, I just wanted to show people the
Not
photograph.
clever, Paul. Not clever.
If I close that, I think it's going to end the stream.
Okay.
It joins multiple processes. Alright. Yep. Yep. Try that there. Oh, right, I may have just come back, is it? Let's see. No. Oh, yes, it has just come back. Sort of. Okay, that may be back. Yeah, something to do with that plugin now.
Yeah, well, it's no time to mess with technical problems in the middle of a live, is it?
Yeah, but we didn't used to have this problem. We're getting that strange pattern coming up there. Oh. Yeah. Maybe a good thing that it closed, just reopen it again. Alright. We're back. Right. Also there's a funny pattern coming up. Yeah. Trying to right click. The CPU's maxed out at 91%. That doesn't normally do that. Something strange going on.
The Livingston incident, a criminal investigation of a UFO.
Okay.
Alice would treat Robert Taylor's report regarding his apparent out-of-this-world encounter as a case of criminal assault. This would make the incident the only UFO or alien abduction case to be part of a criminal investigation. It is highly probable that one of Scotland's most famous UFO encounters, sometimes referred to as the Chmont Woods encounter, involved the alien abduction of Taylor.
Yeah, now this is a very odd case because a lot of people knew this guy, and everyone, to a man, so this guy was credible. And I think this world is full of people, very ordinary people, that had extraordinary experiences, and I think this is a classic case in point.
See, they're going fast now.
Many have undertaken investigations into the events of the 9th of November 1979 near Livingston. All agree Taylor himself is a very solid and credible witness. Essentially, most people believe him to be telling the truth entirely. Perhaps the fact that Scotland has more than the average of such sightings makes the account even more interesting. Whether aliens whisked Robert Taylor off from the Chemont Woods that cold evening or not, it remains one of the most interesting and genuinely strange cases on record.
Paul, that reader's going too quick.
Going too quick? What do you mean to that by that?
Way too quick.
Are you thinking it's gone wrong?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. The text reader is on speed.
The
Or he's on
encounter of
coke.
Robert Taylor.
Let me just check.
The encounter of Robert Taylor.
Sounds normal speed.
Jesus.
What do you mean, Jesus?
He's on something.
Nah, it's normal speed. Unless it's
Sure.
Yeah. How's it sound to you
Go
guys
on.
on YouTube?
Go on, try it now.
Robert Taylor decided to pull his vehicle to the side of the road so he could stretch his legs and allow his dog to do the same. He did so on a quiet road near to the M8 motorway. As he made his way into the woodland at the roadside, a flying dome came into his line of sight. It appeared to be floating slightly above the tops of the trees. The craft was close enough that he could make out the rough sandpaper-like texture of the black metallic material. An aroma of burning brakes suddenly seemed to fill the air. He noticed two objects that had fallen to the ground from the main craft.
That sounds alright to me. Is it too fast for everybody? You can slow it down.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It just seems faster than normal. Never mind.
I suppose it might depend on the internet connection. I don't know. I have no idea. Some crazy stuff is happening again. The men in black are interfering with our system.
I think
Of
Rennie
more
is quite
concern to
familiar with
Taylor,
this
he
case
could
as
feel
well
a pulling
because,
sensation
hang
on
on,
his
got
body
up
as if
on
the
a couple
craft
of
was dragging
occasions.
him towards it.
Hang on.
It was then he realized his hips had rods attached to them that had shot out from the small
That's
object.
better.
He began to panic and pull back from it, but his body didn't respond. The next thing he knew, he was alone on the clearing floor. The object had vanished. After gathering his thoughts, Taylor made his way to his vehicle. Although some time had passed, it stood in the spot he had left it. It was a short joy, however. Try as he might, the car would no longer start as if drained of power by an unknown source.
Mm.
You sort of read over the front bit there.
Yeah, you corrected it.
So, just recapping there. He could feel a pulling sensation on his body, as if the craft was dragging him towards. It was then he
a
realised.
lot of people have experienced that and that paralysed feeling as well.
They realised his hips had rods attached to them. Is that the case where the little ball spheres come out and grabbed him by the clothes? That sounds a bit like that.
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Robert Taylor? I got a picture of him.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the picture of him?
Also known as the Livingston incident.
This guy. That was a strange one. Claimed to be like spherical mace balls that come towards him and tore his trousers, wasn't it?
You couldn't make it up, could you?
Well, I think you could make it up, but didn't they go there and find the strange holes in the ground?
Yeah, but as I was saying earlier, Paul, he was highly credible in the community. And he went to his deathbed saying that had really happened. He never changed the story.
Alright. I think we got a echo happening on. Is it coming out right in Google? Because it seems to be way behind to what we're saying. Oh no. Maybe I have to reset Minicam again.
Oh.
How's it sound alright out there, guys? Does it sound alright? It sounds like it's a wee bit behind. About a minute behind us.
Somebody Rennie would have let me know, or let us know by now.
It sounds really strange on the mixer here. So what we got down to now? Oh.
Of more concern to Taylor, he could feel a pulling sensation on his body as if the craft was dragging him towards it. It was then he realized his hips had rods attached to them that had shot out from the small objects. He began to panic and pull back from it, but his body didn't respond. The next thing he knew, he was alone on the clearing floor. The object had vanished. After gathering his thoughts, Taylor made his way to his vehicle. Although some time had passed, it stood in the spot he had left it. It was a short joy, however. Try as he might, the car would no longer start as if drained of power by an unknown source. He would continue his journey on foot. When he arrived home, his family was aghast at his torn clothing, as well as the cuts and bruising to his face and arms. The short video below looks at the incident itself in a little more detail.
Okay, so we might have some pictures there we can just skim through. What is it? Looks like Unsolved Mysteries or something, is it? In German. So that's where he was.
Yeah, well, I mean, there we go.
Did he have a dog with him at the time or something? I can't remember a dog.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. The dog was howling when he woke up.
So these are the strange things with the spikes on the end. Which obviously can grab, but the way he's drawn it there, I don't see how it can grab hold of his trouser leg. It's not actually like a claw like Pascagoula case. What's that? Same area. Who's she?
His wife, I think.
Oh, right. Okay, so I think that's what we can get from that. Talking about the marks on the ground. I think there was some debunks for this one though, wasn't there?
Well,
something to do with tractors. I think it was something about tractor. But let's have a look at the aftermath of that one. He doesn't look too happy in that picture there. If that's him.
the Scots never look happy, Paul.
Oh, that's stereotyping.
They're always whinging about something.
The aftermath upon his wife asking him what had happened, Taylor replied that he had been attacked by a spaceship. Unsure what to do, his wife informed her husband's employer and boss of the incident, Malcolm Drummond. He would always state that Robert was not a person to make up stories. He had no doubts whatsoever of his genuineness or lack thereof. The police had Taylor take them back to the site of the encounter so they could see it for themselves. His torn trousers went off for scientific analysis, the conclusion being that the damage appeared to be in line with a machine-like object gripping and pulling him. In short, every indication so far was that he was telling the truth. UFO researcher and former Ministry of Defense UFO project director, Nick Pope, claims that the case offers no middle ground. It is his belief that Robert Taylor is a very genuine witness who had little to gain and much to lose by telling of the incident. Robert Taylor passed away in 2007, but there remains an interest in his story, not least because of its apparent authenticity. Incidentally, Taylor would not alter his version of events at any point after the incident. The video below looks at the Livingston incident a little further.
Okay. But we can't probably play that. But anyway,
Well, all this tech stuff you've done, and you can't play that.
Well, What's
So you know,
Well, I
I
can.
don't really know what's the point. Like, if you can't listen to witness testimony,
Yeah, I'll just have to open it up. Well, because we're having little issues. Oh. Doesn't say who's doing it. American Heroes channel, whatever it is. AHC. But it doesn't look like the airwork, does it? That's very strange. The tool has disappeared that we had working. Let me just reload it. That's really strange. The speed up thing's disappeared. Maybe something's disabled it then. It's got me beat. Let me just close it and reopen it. Yeah, not sure what's happening there. Looks like something's disabled it. Maybe that's what the whole problem was. Suppose. Oh no, that one. Where's it disappear to? Yeah, Robert, are you still there? You disappeared. What's happened here? I think he's dropped off. What's happened to him? No, that's strange. Oh well, we'll just have to go without it.
He was very phlegmatic about it.
So we got to do some more testing after this. So I got this filter that goes over top to say it's fair use.
December 1979, when 61-year-old Robert Taylor was walking through woodlands near Livingston in central Scotland, the last thing he expected to see was a UFO. Whatever he encountered, he claimed he was attacked by it and left unconscious. According to Taylor's testimony, when he came to, the UFO was nowhere to be seen. But he claimed the air was full of a choking gas. In a daze, Taylor stumbled back to his house and called the police. When they arrived, they discovered the forestry worker battered and bruised with torn clothing.
It's gone down in history, this case, as being the only example of a police investigation into a suspicious attack by a UFO on an individual.
Robert Taylor was the only witness to the events he described, but his account was judged.
So there's a dog. Just trying to get Robert back on there. Not sure if he pulled out the cable or tripped over or what. He's not there, is he? No. I'm not too sure why. He should have come back in then.
Judged to be reliable.
Everybody who's investigated the case says Bob Taylor himself was a very credible witness. He didn't try to make money out of the case. He was very phlegmatic about it and didn't seem particularly perturbed or excited about it. And he was not somebody who was known for making up stories or making incredible claims.
He believed, and he always to his dying day, he believed that he saw a spaceship. For want of a better word, in fact, that's the words he used. He saw a spaceship.
Unlike many UFO sightings, Taylor's eyewitness statement was supported by physical evidence. When the police visited the clearing where Taylor claimed he was attacked, they found the ground scarred with strange indentations.
On examining the area, I found 2 trike marks and approximately 40 holes in the ground. Since then, I've photographed the holes. You can actually see the trade marks which correspond to the marks here.
This is the area in question where Robert Taylor said he saw that this fantastic object. This area here, we have over 40 holes in the grass, and in the middle of this sloping field at the time were these track-like marks.
Really baffling stuff, because there was no tracks actually running to the clearing or running away from it.
With the testimony of Robert Taylor, with these spiky balls that descended from beneath this object and rolled across the grass, perhaps it was those devices, it may have made these indentations, these marks in the grass.
The police photographs and sketches are not the only evidence that remains from the incident.
What I'm holding here is the actual trousers that Robert Taylor wore on that eventful morning, and they clearly show the rips on the trousers here. We have quite a substantial rip on the right leg of the trouser, and also if we turn the trousers round to this side, on the left leg, we have quite a more substantial tear, as we can see here. Now, the testimony was that these rips were made by these sea mine devices. It fell from beneath the object that Robert Taylor saw on that eventful morning. The marks that you're looking at could have been made by something not of this world.
Or could have been made on purpose, couldn't it? So yeah. So we ain't got Robert on, so I'm not sure where we're meant to be going. He hasn't even come on the side chat, so where is he gone? So we might have to wrap up early then. Other road UFO abductions, so I might read out that anyway. And I'll have to see if I can get him on Facebook or something. Strange. Where's he gone?
Other road UFO abduction encounters. We spoke about the Mann family in a previous article, who experienced a strange experience while driving home. Much like them, and Taylor, many others have found themselves suddenly involved in otherworldly incidents while driving on the sometimes lonely roads of the United Kingdom. One of the more interesting and chilling is the claims of Gary Wood from August 1992. Wood was driving along the A70 with his friend, Colin Wright. They were heading towards Lanarkshire a little after 10 p.m. Suddenly, a dark black object made its way into their line of sight high above them. As they continued along the road, a bright wall of light descended in front of them. The two men appeared to be caught in the headlights of this strange light. They believe it was then that they blacked out. The next thing each of the men remembers is that their vehicle had come to a stop and the clock now read 11 p.m. It also appeared that the car had changed direction and now faced the opposite way they had been driving. Understandably disturbed by the events, each of the men agreed to hypnotic regression. Their comments were both fascinating and alarming. As their car came to a stop, their bodies stiffened in pain as though they had received electric shocks. Three beings took the men from the car and onto the black object, now on the ground. Both men would state the object was very clearly a spaceship. Each was stripped of their clothes and subjected to intricate examinations. At the same time, red-hot poker-like objects would explode into their eyes. Woods, in particular, said that screams of other people were audible around him. They appeared to be in the same room.
I think maybe he's lost internet. So, I wrote all four Devon Wells were victims of alien abductions.
It wasn't until the following day that Rachel began to wonder just what had happened on their drive home. She would drive the route again. This time it would take only 10 minutes to complete, while it took an hour the previous day. Either that or they couldn't account for around 45 to 50 minutes of time. Reports on the local radio suggested that others had also seen this strange light that evening. Many callers went on air with their information. When Alex DeVero began to experience intense dreams, however, Rachel agreed to go under hypnosis to recover the memories she now suspected was residing in her mind. Perhaps surprisingly, perhaps not, her testimony under hypnosis revealed all four of the DeVeros were victims of alien abduction. Since the incident, they regularly witness strange lights over their farmhouse home. Whether those lights are simply sightings or further abductions is a question still requiring an answer. The video below looks at the DeVeros' experience in a little more depth.
Alright, so the last thing he had on the list which I'm not sure if he covered that one or not. That's what I've got coming up there. Which is this guy here, so that must be the last one that he was going to talk about. So it looks like it's almost time to wrap up then. So it's called Livingston incident, which I guess is a location in the woods there. So what have we got? UK. There you go. Oh, okay, clicked the wrong one, don't I? It's way up there. Even though it's the wrong one. There's the outlet and the location. Try it again. So you've got too much in the paste there, that's a problem. So I think what happened is that plugin for speeding up thing is there was something that the browser didn't like and it's disabled it. So it's something I have to look into. It's a shame because it was really good. So yep, runs up the smack of the middle there on the coast, North Sea there. So that was meant to be the last thing on our end of the string, just UFO chit chat. So I don't know where Robert's gone, whether he's going to come back. Yeah, he's not on Facebook. Yeah, very strange. So he disappeared like that. So what I'm going to do is going to go wrap up now, guys, and we're done in 3 hours anyway. Even though we had lots of little technical glitches tonight. Looks like I'm going to have to do some checking and see what's gone wrong. Yeah, it's not mentioned in me here. Oh yeah, I'll just end the credits off now. What do we get up to? 2 hours 45, so that's good enough. And I'll do my usual Sunday debunks, whatever. Hopefully I'll get the errors sorted out. Yep. So yeah, thanks for liking and watching. I think we got up to probably 10, 11 watching at some stage, but I think it's been pretty constant. We're about 7. Good night. Thanks for liking and sharing. Yeah, I was going to maybe see if I can find that fishing line one, but maybe I'll show it Sunday if I recap it. I'll leave it for another time. Anyway, let's see if the end credits work, I suppose. Oh dear, it's too early in the morning for this. Is it May? Oh yeah. Good night. A Matrix cartoon. Kiwi going to bed.